Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Boost Podcast. I'm Emma, and today we're talking about something that I think we all wish we were better at: time management. Do you ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? Like you're always running behind and never quite catching up?
And I'm James. Hi, Emma. Oh, I definitely know that feeling. I often get to the end of the day and wonder where all the time went. I had a long list of things I wanted to accomplish, but somehow only managed to complete half of them. It's frustrating because time is our most valuable resource, and once it's gone, we can't get it back.
Exactly. Unlike money, which we can earn more of, time is finite. We all get the same 24 hours each day, regardless of who we are. The difference between people who seem to accomplish everything and those who struggle to keep up often comes down to how they manage those hours.
Today we're going to explore why time management is so important, identify common time wasters that steal our precious hours, and share practical strategies that can help you make the most of your time. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just trying to balance the demands of daily life, these tips should help.
And of course, Olivia will join us at the end to teach some useful vocabulary related to time and productivity.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olivia. Time management is such a practical topic, and there's lots of great vocabulary to learn. I'm excited to share it with you.
Emma, let's start by discussing why time management is so important. I think most people know they should manage their time better, but they might not fully appreciate the benefits.
That's a great place to start. Good time management has so many benefits, both professionally and personally. First, it reduces stress significantly. When you have a clear plan and you're in control of your schedule, you feel calmer and more confident. You're not constantly panicking about forgotten tasks or looming deadlines.
That makes sense. I've noticed that my stress levels are directly related to how organized I am. When I'm on top of things, I feel much more relaxed.
Exactly. Another major benefit is that good time management increases your productivity. When you use your time wisely, you get more done in less time. This might mean you can finish work earlier, have more time for hobbies, or simply feel a sense of accomplishment at the end of each day.
What about the quality of work? Does time management affect that too?
Absolutely. When you're not rushing at the last minute, you have time to do things properly. You can review your work, make improvements, and produce higher quality results. Rushing leads to mistakes and mediocre output. People who manage their time well tend to deliver better work consistently.
I've also heard that time management is important for work-life balance. Can you explain that connection?
Yes, this is crucial. If you're efficient with your work time, you create space for other important areas of your life, like family, friends, health, and personal interests. Poor time management often means work spills over into personal time, leading to burnout and strained relationships. Good time management helps you set boundaries and protect time for what matters most.
It sounds like time management isn't just about getting more work done. It's about creating a better overall quality of life.
Exactly right. It's about being intentional with how you spend your limited time, making sure it aligns with your values and priorities, not just reacting to whatever demands your attention. Now let's talk about what gets in the way of good time management. James, what do you think are the biggest time wasters for most people?
I think the number one time waster in the modern world has to be our phones and social media. It's so easy to pick up your phone to check one notification and then suddenly realize you've been scrolling for 30 minutes. These apps are designed to be addictive, and they steal huge amounts of our time without us even realizing it.
That's so true. Studies show that the average person spends several hours a day on their phone, much of it on social media or entertainment. That time adds up to weeks or even months over a year. Imagine what you could accomplish if you redirected even half of that time towards something meaningful.
Email is another big one for me. I used to check my email constantly throughout the day, responding to messages as soon as they came in. But I realized this was incredibly disruptive because every time I switched to email, I lost focus on whatever I was working on.
That's called context switching, and research shows it can take up to 25 minutes to fully refocus after an interruption. If you're checking email every few minutes, you're never really giving your full attention to anything.
What about meetings? I feel like so much time is wasted in unnecessary or poorly run meetings.
Meetings are a huge time drain, especially in office environments. Many meetings could be replaced with a simple email, and those that are necessary often run longer than they should because there's no clear agenda or purpose. Learning to decline unnecessary meetings and making the ones you attend more efficient can save hours each week.
Procrastination is another major issue. I often put off tasks I don't want to do, and then they take up mental space and cause stress until I finally do them.
Procrastination is fascinating because it often makes things worse. The task rarely gets easier by waiting, and you spend energy worrying about it. We talked about this in our motivation episode. Often the best approach is to just start, even if you only work on the task for 5 minutes. Once you've begun, it's usually easier to continue.
Perfectionism can also be a time waster. Can it? Spending too much time trying to make something perfect when good enough would do.
Absolutely. There's a concept called the Pareto principle, which suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. Often, the last 20% of perfecting something takes 80% of the time. Learning when something is good enough and moving on is an important skill.
Now let's get practical. What strategies can people use to manage their time better?
One of the most powerful techniques is planning your day in advance. I spend about 10 minutes each evening planning the next day. I identify the most important tasks and schedule specific times to work on them. This means I start each day with a clear roadmap instead of wasting time figuring out what to do.
Do you use any specific tools for planning? Apps or a paper planner?
I actually prefer a simple paper notebook for daily planning, but there are great apps like Todoist or Google Calendar that work well too. The tool matters less than the habit of actually planning. Some people love complex productivity systems, but often the simplest approach that you'll actually use is best.
What about prioritizing? How do you decide what's most important?
I use a simple framework. I ask myself what 1 or 2 things, if completed today, would make the biggest difference. These become my priorities, and I tackle them first when my energy is highest, usually in the morning. Less important tasks get scheduled for later in the day when I naturally have less focus.
I've heard about time blocking. Can you explain how that works? My
Time blocking is when you schedule specific blocks of time for specific activities. Instead of having a vague list of things to do, you actually put them in your calendar. For example, from 9 to 11, I work on the report. From 11 to 12, I respond to emails. This creates structure and helps prevent tasks from expanding to fill all available time.
What about dealing with distractions? That's a big challenge for me.
Creating a distraction-free environment is essential. This might mean putting your phone in another room, using website blockers to prevent access to social media during work hours, or finding a quiet space to work. You can also try the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused 25-minute intervals followed by short breaks. Knowing a break is coming makes it easier to stay focused.
Any tips for people who feel overwhelmed by too many tasks?
If you're overwhelmed, start by writing everything down. Getting tasks out of your head and onto paper reduces anxiety and makes them feel more manageable. Then, be ruthless about what actually needs to be done. Can anything be delegated, postponed, or eliminated entirely? Often we take on more than necessary. Finally, remember that you can only do one thing at a time, so focus on that one thing and let go of the rest temporarily.
What a useful discussion about time management. Now let me explain some key vocabulary. First, deadline. A deadline is the time or date by which something must be finished. It's the final point when a task is due. We say the deadline for the project is Friday, or I'm working hard to meet the deadline. Missing a deadline means not finishing on time. But next is priority. A priority is something that is more important than other things and should be dealt with first. We talk about setting priorities or making something a priority. Emma mentioned identifying your priorities for the day. High priority tasks are the most important ones. Schedule can be both a noun and a verb. As a noun, it's a plan that shows when events or activities will happen. As a verb, it means to plan for something to happen at a particular time. We say check your schedule, or let's schedule a meeting for Tuesday. Productive describes someone or something that achieves a lot or works effectively. A productive day is one where you accomplish many things. We say, I had a really productive morning, or how can I be more productive? The noun form is productivity. Distraction is something that takes your attention away from what you're doing. Phones and social media are common distractions. We say, I need to work without distractions, or my phone is a constant distraction. The verb is distract. Finally, efficient. Being efficient means working well without wasting time, energy, or resources. An efficient person gets things done quickly and effectively. We say she's very efficient at her job, or we need to find a more efficient way to do this. The noun is efficiency. Those are your time management vocabulary words. Back to Emma and James.
Thank you, Olivia. These words are so useful for talking about work and productivity in English.
Let's review deadline, priority, schedule, productive, distraction, and efficient. Try to use these words when discussing your own time management.
We'd love to hear your time management tips. What strategies work best for you? What's your biggest time waster? Share in the comments below.
Remember, time management is a skill that improves with practice. Don't expect to be perfect right away. Start with 1 or 2 strategies and build from there.
Thank you for watching English Boost Podcast. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Make every hour count.
See you in the next episode. Use your time wisely.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Goodbye. Time flies, so make it count.